been 1 week since my daughter Rosalie was born and 5 days since she passed away. And I thought maybe I'd like to just, I don't know, spill my thoughts on camera to, I guess, think some of the things I've been thinking out loud, because, you know, it's so easy to just let everything pile up in your head and not say anything out loud and not come to any conclusions or not make any opinions. I just think this will be a nice way for me to kind of process my thoughts, and I guess I'm sharing it with those of you who click on this video because, I don't know, maybe it'll help someone else who's going through something similar. There's been a lot of things on my mind. I'm very devastated, I'm very sad, and I miss her a lot. And it's just, I'm almost always thinking about, if only we did this, if only we did that, or life could have been this, or life could have been that. But at the same time, I don't see that as very helpful if I'm just constantly ruminating and thinking about the past and trying to change it in my mind, which doesn't do anything in reality. There's definitely, I guess, value in thinking we should have done this differently or that differently and applying that to the future. But if I just think to myself, I want a time machine and I want to go back in time, and I'm always thinking about that, which is a normal thing to think, but I guess I know that I need to accept what happened because there's no changing it. That's just the reality. It's hard not to think though about, like, just think, I wish we did this. I wish we did that. I wish we did this. Yeah, it's hard not to think about that. I've been getting lots of help from lots of friends and family. We've got this really amazing church that's just like making us meals, doing jobs. Like, I had a friend from church come and mow my lawn because I hadn't really been home for a week and hadn't mowed it before then, and so that was really nice, and that's been really helpful, being around people who support me and who are here for me. I found it most helpful, like, you know, when someone gives you such shocking news, it's hard to know what to say, and you don't want to upset them further and offend them further. And with this news, you get lots of different things that lots of different people say, some helpful and some just not helpful. But the things that aren't, like, when people say unhelpful things, I just don't take it to heart. I could easily get offended. I could easily hold it against them and get angry at them, but I kind of almost just laugh it off, just like, that's such a stupid thing to say to someone who's going through what I'm going through, but whatever. Because I just don't see that being helpful for me. Just like letting myself get more upset. Like, I'm already going through enough already. Why should I make it my problem to just care so much about what everyone says to me? Because there's actually tons, like 99% of people know exactly what to say. And honestly, what the thing to say when someone's going through something like this is not a whole lot. Like, you get lots of people who try to explain and say everything happens for a reason, which I do believe, but in lots of people's circumstances, that's quite unhelpful or maybe demotivating or upsetting, because how could something so horrible happen for any reason? I personally believe that, yeah, there's a purpose, there's great and deep purpose behind everything, especially suffering and especially death. That's what I believe. It's what the Bible tells me, and I believe that because, I mean, it makes sense to me, and I take great comfort in believing that there's actually great purpose behind Rosalie's death. Like, I can already see good things coming out of it. Like, I wouldn't ever choose for it to happen, but I can see things meaningful things happening because of it. Like, it's brought our family closer together than ever before. It's just deepened our love for each other and our love for God more now than ever, which I very much value, which I find very important. When you go through something with someone, when you go through something hard, it unites you. It strengthens your relationship. And so, after going through all of this, me and my wife, our relationship now is stronger now than it's ever been, which I'm very thankful for. I'm trying to think of more positives and not dwell on all of the negatives because I can't change what happened. But focusing on the positives doesn't mean just dismissing what happened and saying it's good that that happened because this happened, because no, nothing changes the fact that it's really sad and that it's made me devastated. It's normal to weep in the face of death. So thinking about positives, it's brought me and my family closer together. That's I guess the main positive, is that it's made my family stronger as a unit. You'd think that something like this would break us apart, make us so devastated that it would kind of, like if this happened in a band, maybe the band would break up. Or maybe the band would say, no, we'll keep going for this band member that has passed away. I don't know. I know for a fact though that this tragedy has made my family stronger. It's made our love for one another deeper. Some of the things that have helped me grieve and helped me to, I say move on with quotation marks, but it doesn't really feel right to just say I'm moving on. But I guess it kind of makes the most sense. Like, people understand what I mean when I say that. But the things that have helped me is seeing people and talking to people and being open about my feelings and saying yes to people helping me. So many people offer help in a time like this. And I imagine for some people it's really hard to accept help because you don't want to burden others, or maybe because you feel like you don't need it, or you don't want to admit that you need it. But I think it takes a lot more strength to accept help than to do something yourself. So accepting help is helpful. Practical help, emotional help, people coming in to just be with you. You don't need friends to come and say something profound to you for your problems to be solved. I've realised this week just how meaningful it is for someone to come and just cry with you, or just the acknowledgement. Like, so many of you commented rose emojis on the video that I posted announcing the bad news. And just the simple comment with a rose and the amount of them meant a lot to me, that there were lots of other people just acknowledging the fact that this is sad and that they're here with me. I've gone on a couple of walks since getting home, taken my eldest daughter, on walks in the pram and going alongside a river. And the 2 days that I've gone on a walk, the weather's been really nice, and it just feels really healing for me. It's like just a nice breath of fresh air. I'm out of the hospital and I've got a really nice view of this really nice river, and the sun is like reflecting on the water and it's really bright in my face, but it's also really nice. It's good to cry. I've cried more this week than I ever have before, at least in my adult life. I guess when I was a baby I probably cried more. But man, on the night of Rosalie's death, I've never wept louder. And well, it was just really good to just let it all out. Most nights since then I have had a cry. Not as big as that one, but I have had a cry. And it's really good. Just bottling it up and just trying to put away and just say, oh, real men don't cry. It just makes things worse. I think it takes, like I was saying before, with taking strength to accept people's help, I think it takes strength to cry and to admit and acknowledge those emotions. It's important and it's okay, definitely in a scenario like this, to cry. Another thing that has helped me is just my faith and my God. Like I was saying earlier, I've read in the Bible and come to an understanding that there's great meaning and purpose in suffering. I know for a fact that God has got big things in mind. He doesn't just let this happen for no reason. God doesn't just let people suffer for no reason. It's not meaningless. You know, if you look at the ultimate example of how Jesus died on the cross, it seems like it's this big accident where just Jesus came into the world, he was healing heaps of people, he was teaching amazing things, and then unfortunately some people didn't like him and whoops, he died on a cross. It was all a part of God's plan. It was all God's intention. And I can see it like working the exact same way with Rosalie passing away. It wasn't just a meaningless situation where, well, that's just life for you. People die. It's not just a meaningless thing that happened. It has meaning behind it. And I still would not choose for it to happen ever. But I know that I can trust God and I can trust what He's doing. I can trust that He knows what He's doing. That there is great meaning behind it. This is just talking about me suffering the loss of my child. Rosalie, she gets to be in heaven now. She's free from suffering now. She's free from a world of pain and death and evil. Like, the world is so messed up. And Rosalie, while I really wanted to raise her and wanted to show her the beautiful things about this world, and I'm really sad that we didn't get to raise her and get to know her as she grew up. She is where I want to be. I'm not saying I want to be dead. I'm saying she's in paradise. She's in heaven, and I know that I'm going there after I die because I've put my faith and trust in Jesus and His death and resurrection. And I know that she's there right now and I'll meet her again one day. I'm really excited for that day. Even more excited now that I've got her there waiting for me. I can't see exactly why, like the exact reason why, but I can see some reasons why God would let this happen. I wouldn't let it happen if it was in my control. But if the world was run by me, then that would end in chaos because I don't know how to run an entire planet. The reality is that we live in a broken world where there's death, where people die, babies die. And that's all here. We live in this broken world because, well, the Bible says is because humans brought that into the world. When Adam and Eve disobeyed God, they rebelled against Him, and that brought all the brokenness into the world that we face today. Like, humanity was given an option to live in peace with God or to live as God's enemies, to rebel against him, and that's what humanity chose. And so here we are today, facing death, literal death, of my own child, and it sucks. But thankfully, I will meet her again. And that's because God provided a way for us to be cleansed from the brokenness that we are. And that was when he sent Jesus to die on the cross and die the death that we deserved, and rose him to life again, so that whoever would believe in him shall not perish but have eternal life. And this is the God that I believe in. The God who had mercy on me. This is an all-knowing, all-powerful God who my daughter is now in the hands of. I trust him fully with her. It would be so much worse to think that she was just dead now and there was nothing else left for her. With each day since Rosalie's death, I feel a bit better. Each day does get easier. There's still that sadness in the back of my mind. Every now and then I'll just be doing something and then I think, oh yeah, that's right, Rosalie died. But I know that I'm healing, that the emotional scars and the trauma is healing. And as far as grief and recovery and all that goes, I'm doing okay. I don't know why you watched this whole thing, but I hope it was helpful for you. And see you later.